ever been a greater all-round fast bowler than Ray Lindwall? His action was just about perfect, left arm beautifully upright, and every ounce of body swing possible as the ball went on its way. His run was long, easy, and rhythmic, and he gathered himself in the last few yards in a way that few bowlers have done. With Keith Millar, he formed one of the greatest fast bowling pairs of all time, and here he is shown bowling his deadly outswinger.
Now that's the grip for the outswinger. And that's the grip for the inswinger. Now you try it and see if you remember it. For the leg cutter, you hold your two fingers on top of the ball like that. And for the off cutter, just the opposite, two fingers on the top with the seam pointing that way. Well, that's fine. But to give you a better idea, let's go over and watch Keith Millar and Allan Davidson, and you watch the tremendous bowling body action they put into their bowling.
Allan Davidson probably learnt to use body action from Ray Lindwall, for he played in the shadow of this great fast bowler for some years before he himself became Australia's leading bowler in the period 1957 to 1963. His great control was one of the features of his bowling, and here he takes one of his many test match wickets when he beats Fred Titmus with a late swinger at the Sydney Cricket Ground in 1963. Now let's watch Davidson and see just how he prepares to bowl any one of his deliveries. First of all, he measures out his 15 paces, the 15 paces that were so often the beginning of disaster for opposing batsmen. A slight adjustment in the field, and now he gathers momentum and delivers the ball at fast medium pace. The in-swinger to the right-hander. And now in slow motion, one of the most perfect body actions seen in the game of cricket. His right arm perfectly positioned and his left arm coordinated and absolutely straight. He had tremendous strength in his shoulders, and with his last moment body swing from side on, he derived much of the late swing that nonplussed so many batsmen throughout the world. Here he is from another angle. To achieve this late swing, the basic fundamentals must be observed, and one of these concerns the back foot being placed in a position as parallel as possible to the bowling crease, so that the body is kept side on to the batsman in delivery. To the right-handers, he was a menace, cutting the ball away from them towards the slips with this grip, but being so accurate that he was able to concentrate on any minute area of the pitch or indeed on the stumps themselves. He was a fine fieldsman and batsman, as shown by his record, but his bowling was of most value to Australia, following the retirement of Millar and Lindwall. Late swing and model action combined to make him one of the greatest of Australia's bowlers. McKenzie took over as leader of the Australian attack when Davidson retired, bowling in England, the West Indies, India and Pakistan with all the skill that earned him top marks from critics. Early in his career, he played against MCC in Brisbane and is shown here bowling to David Shepherd. McKenzie is powerful. He swings the ball late and has a very high action. His left shoulder is round further than normal, providing a great deal of body movement and completely side-on delivery. Here is a perfect example of a side-on delivery seen from above Graham McKenzie. Take a good look at his strong body action. For demonstration only, Jeff, Graham McKenzie will show you how some bowlers throw, a delivery that instantly looks to be different and jerky rather than smooth. And there it is, frozen, body front on, but difficult for the umpire at square leg to detect the difference, which is so apparent under the scrutiny of the camera. Let's have a look at Keith Millar bowling his outswinger. If Lindwall was predictable in action and run-up, then Millar was the complete opposite. He was dynamic, a bowler who often shocked batsmen not only when he bowled a dangerous bumper, but occasionally also when he delivered a leg break or a wrong-un. He had ideal body action and great strength in his right arm, and for all his apparent nonchalance, he is one of the most perfect examples of a cricketer's bowling action that cricket can offer. Left arm always high, coordination perfect. Here in slow motion, he provides a wonderful example to all aspiring fast bowlers. Left arm up and right arm pulling the body through. His bumper was vicious, as Len Hutton found out this day in Sydney in 1946. Keith Millar now shows his outswinger. First of all, natural motion, as the ball starts on the off stump, enticing the batsman forward, and then swings away late to give the slips fieldsman their chance. Let's slow down the action again for a closer study. One of the most improved cricketers in the early 1960s in Australia was Neil Hawke, who swings so late that batsmen like Barry Shepherd sometimes haven't time to play a shot. The same fate meets right-hander John Parker. Lindwall, Millar and Davidson were bowlers of beautiful action. In this sphere, Hawke is a tradesman rather than an artist. His action, in fact, is a trifle ugly, but he is still a fine example to young players of application and determination. Not everyone can have an action like Millar or Lindwall, but Hawke, with his slightly unorthodox method, has proved a wonderful and courageous bowler for Australia on the international scene. One of Neil Hawke's most dangerous deliveries is the slower ball, which we will show you here. Batsmen play a fraction of a second early and are not able to keep the ball down as they move to drive.
Now, this is the grip I use, Jeff, for every delivery. Leg spinners, top spinners and wrong-uns. I never change it. Use the same one all the time.
The leg spinner. And a close-up of one of the best ever, Richie Benaud. And now, Benaud in action. Body side onto the batsman, left arm starting high and then coming down close to the body as the right arm is pulled through. Spin bowling is not all beer and skittles, though, as West Indies star Gary Sobers shows here when he hits Richie through the covers for 4 in the tied Brisbane Test match.
All right, Jeff, let me have the ball, and you go down behind the stumps and see how the leg spinners turn and kick.
There's the spin. And here's the bounce that finds the edge of unwary bats. The wrong 'un out of the back of the hand was a Benaud specialty. He bowled it with admirable guile. In action, the delivery lands on the middle stump and spins to the leg stump. For all bowlers, fast and slow, the two essential things are length and direction, irrespective of the ability to swing or spin the ball. The tricks of the trade will come. Bowl straight and bowl accurately, and there is no reason why you can't be as good as the players you have just been watching. Young Jeff has been attentive and seen how the stars play their shots. The champion watches approvingly because Jeff has shown a grasp of the basic fundamentals of batting. He has learnt well, and one of these days it could be Jeff driving someone like Fedser to the boundary or turning someone like Statham off his toes. He might play at Lord's, on the Melbourne Cricket Ground, or in places as far afield as Hong Kong. Yes, they play cricket in Hong Kong too. There's a match in progress right now. We view it from the peaks of this famous eastern location. Australian cricketers have often played on this ground and in other parts of the world as well. The game is played, for instance, in Hawaii against the background of glorious scenery. Cricket is played just as keenly by men and boys under Diamond Head as it is in Australia. This scene could be typical of Australia, parks filled with cricketers of all age groups. In the far outback of our own land and in the hottest of weather, cricket is enjoyed with the same enthusiasm as in crowded cities. Dress isn't quite Lord's, dear boy, but it's 110 out there. Schools are the nurseries of cricket. They play a big and important part in the organisation of all games. The lads we join show improved techniques as a result of early coaching. But with or without coaching, the schoolboy still displays that intense love for the game. He plays with keenness and enthusiasm that is sure to have its reward. Give a boy a bat and a ball, and there is no telling to what heights he may rise as a cricketer, provided he has the dedication and the will to succeed in one of the greatest games of all.